Hey everybody, my name is Keion and this is my lovely wife.
Shaunie.
And welcome to another episode of the Groow Zone. Hey babe, this is so fun to do.
It is fun and I learned so much, which is not what I had set out to think this was going to be for me personally. I thought, like we talk all the time, no big deal. But the fact that I'm sitting here in real time and learning, which is growth.
That's
And that's
growth.
the whole point of this.
Whole point.
So I am actually really glad in a selfish way that I'm personally learning in the midst of hoping that we're helping other people.
Like one of my
grow.
mentors told me, he said, people think that when you're in a classroom that the students are learning, but the person who's learning the most in the classroom is the teacher. Because as you're talking,
You're
you
like,
know,
what?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm having what moments?
So like,
I also need to clarify some things for the people.
my God. Let me,
So
wait.
I'm helping.
Let me get myself centered.
Okay. Do your zen. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
I'm helping people on your behalf because we had an episode that I talked about your underwear being, in danger because of sharding. But I don't want people to think that you are a sharder because you're not. I've never found any shardy underwear.
Wow.
Never. And I don't want people to think that you do that. It was just hypothetical. You were trying to explain that your stomach gets bubbly and rumbly as if you are going to shart, but you don't actually shart. So don't make any memes of my handsome husband and any sharty draws because he doesn't have any. It was just a hypothetical conversation.
Thank you so much, babe, for speaking up for my
You're
underwear
welcome.
and my stomach.
You're welcome.
They are represented well.
Yes.
And I just want to thank you so very much.
I thought that was important.
I think that it is, if you thought it. I also wanted to start off just telling you how radiant you look today.
Thank you. Somebody said green is my color.
It seems to be that all colors are your color.
Oh, is that a compliment? Or
That
you
is
being
very
funny?
much a compliment.
Oh, thank you.
Because you have a very light tapestry.
Wow.
A lot of colors look great on your skin.
Thank you. I sometimes don't know if you're being serious or not, but I'm going to take that as a compliment.
No, seriously, babe. You look great in all colors.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Thank you.
You had on green not too long ago. It was a lime green.
I did. Lime green. I busted that out for Easter.
Let me tell you something. The shoulder pads on that mug, and they had velvet on the shoulders.
Yeah, it did.
You see? You see how much I pay attention?
I'm a pantsuiter.
You're a pantsuiter.
I am.
You look
Sets are my thing.
You look great in pants, just so you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
So, what are we talking about today, sir?
Well, I think what we're going to be talking about today is how we operate as a couple in relationship. Like,
okay.
How do we do things together? And that, like, how do two things from two totally different worlds come together with vast differences and still make the thing that they're trying to do work? Like, how does it take place? Like, you come from LA. I'm from Indiana. And here we are both in Texas.
Right.
Working on this thing called a relationship.
Well, I think it's about defining what that thing is that we're trying to accomplish and defining how to start it. And I think we're good with coming up with plans. That's one thing that you kind of helped me start doing is I'm good with delegating. I'm good with coming up with the plan as a whole. And I'm in the moment doing it. Like I always be like, I'm a winger. Like I kind of wing things and it usually works out for me. But when you're in a partnership with somebody, I think that's based off of me doing things by myself for so long. And then just having a team that I knew I could give them the assignments to do, but I always came up with the plan and it was like me. Now being in a partnership and having a husband, everything is, we have to have communication. We have to talk about it. So it doesn't matter which one of us come up with the plan. It's having the conversation of how do we start it, defining the start of that. And I think you're actually really, really good. You're better at that than I am because I struggle with what to give you, what responsibilities to give you versus what I have, because then I'll take it all on because I have like a control issue with like making things, yeah.
Well, you know what I think? Like I just grew listening to you, literally, because like, is it not true that if a bird is going to fly, it's got to have a body and wings? And you said you're a winger. And so if we use that analogy, say I'm the body, you're the wings. Well, without the body, the wings doesn't have anything attached to. Without the wings, the birds can't fly. I think the problem in a relationship is we spend so much time identifying differences as opposed to appreciating them.
Right. And understanding that we have to be connected to work.
Yeah. Like, you know, your difference is what makes me different. My difference connected to you contributes to you being different, because without those differences, then we'd be the same. And like, what's the purpose of a relationship if both people are the same?
Right. Yeah. Because you're right. Like, we actually figured out something about each other just this morning, that someone gave us. Why do you always look at me like you're perplexed about what I'm about to say?
I'm just focused. I'm intently focusing on what you're about to say.
It's like you're scared of what I might say. This is actually good. So somebody gave us these papers that it gave us a lot of detail about an event. And we both looked at them, didn't say anything to each other, but I had to just put mine away. Like, I looked at the first, I was like, you pretty much did it fast. You like looked through the papers and you put it down. And I had to say, yeah, that's way too much information. Like, I can't function that way, because I'll get frustrated, because in my mind, I'm thinking, I got to remember all this stuff, or I got to think about it, or I got to like, give it to me in real time. Like, give me a broad idea of what journey we're on. And I'll make sure I accomplish the goal. But the details, I'm not good with it. I'll get a whole
So that's
attitude.
good. So let me ask you a question. How does that work in a relationship? Like, okay, say the relationship is that sheet of paper. And there are all these details on it. How do you transpose that mindset into how you handle a relationship?
I'm not good with it. Like, you know that, babe. Like, you'll say, we got to sit down and talk about, I don't know, let's say it's finances. I'll be like, do we, or can you just
do it? Do you remember that time when we were on our FaceTime and I said, babe, we got to pay this bill?
Yes.
And I said to you, this was early on when we didn't know how we were going to do it yet.
Yeah.
I said, how do we pay this bill? And you took your face out of FaceTime and pointed at me.
Yeah.
And I knew then, I was like, oh, okay. I'm thinking because you had been doing it so long, you want to keep doing it.
Like,
and in your mind, you was like, I can't wait till you start doing this, because I don't want to do it.
No, I do not want to. I don't want to organize. First of all, I trust you, you know, with my life, with everything. What's in the bank, I trust you with it. And you are so organized. And I'm like a jumble mess. I will frustrate you in that, because I'm going to put everything on auto pay, because I'm going to forget. And the things that I don't, I'm going to be like, oh, Lord, I forgot to put that on auto pay. This is overdue. And it comes in the mail. You going to have a whole attitude.
You know why I'm not putting it on auto pay?
Because you don't trust the system.
I don't want them taking my money when I'm done with them.
You got to turn it off.
I might forget. They're going to get an extra month. Now, I'm going to give it to them. They're going to get it in 2 seconds. It's going to take me 2 years to get it back. I ain't giving nobody nothing automatically. I'm pushing pay every time.
Yeah, see, that I'm not doing it.
I know you don't like it.
I hate it.
Let me tell y'all what we just found out yesterday, that this woman thinks I'm totally crazy about.
Oh.
That I still got a checkbook and I keep a ledger. And let me tell you something. If the bank don't match me, they wrong. You hear me?
I do.
Oh, yeah, because I'm going to account for it all. Listen, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. You ain't getting over on me. I'm going to subtract $3 from the ledger.
That's
and then I'm going to look
nuts.
at the bank.
In 2023.
Let me tell you something, baby. It might be nuts, but I'm going to stay rocky. Because let me tell you something. I ain't letting nobody get over. I want my money. And we got to agree.
You are very
ledgery.
Thorough.
You
take notes. You know what I mean? Like, you're not missing much. So do you keep like a ledger on me? Do you have like this secret? I know the answer to this, but I want the people to know. Do you keep little notes on February 3rd?
Why are you in my business, sister? I need to know, why are you in my business?
I'm just saying.
Are you asking me, do I keep notes on you?
Do you keep notes? That's exactly what I'm asking.
What kind of question is that?
The question I just asked, and you're not answering it yet.
But I'm just trying to figure out, why would you ask me a question?
You're distracting from the question.
Why would you ask me a question? Do I keep notes on you?
That's what I asked.
Of course I do. What do you mean?
What? That's awful.
No, it is not. You keep notes on things that you want to learn.
Oh,
You
see
keep notes.
See how he did that?
See, I don't understand why my responses have to be.
No, that was good.
I keep notes on you because I want to remember what made you happy last time. I want to remember how did she respond to that. I do write notes.
Where are these notes?
In a place that is none of your business.
Is it your phone?
See how nosy you are? You've been in my phone. See, you see how you act?
I don't go in your phone.
Well, how you know where they are?
No, I just know. I see you take notes in your phone sometimes, but I didn't know they were on me.
What's in all those books in your drawer that you've been writing?
Oh, I write. I write.
About what?
Sometimes it's you. Sometimes I write notes, so I can remember to come back to that.
See,
what I have learned about my husband.
The Bible says that you keep no record of wrong. That's in 1 Corinthians. Now I
know
my Bible.
Did I say it was wrong?
Oh,
I
yes.
didn't say I took notes about wrong things.
Because if you got to come back to it, it ain't good. Because good things you get away right away. If you got to come back later, I know it ain't good. I needs to read that book, and as an author.
Wow.
I think I should be able to read it to make sure it's true.
That has nothing to do with
I know it don't, but
notes.
I'm saying it anyway.
What? No, I think that's good partnership. Learning when to communicate, how to communicate. So sometimes, I will take notes in the moment and know that that's not the time to address it.
That's good.
But because I know me and I'll forget, but that's something important that we need to talk about, I will write it down.
You know what that's called?
What is that called?
Growth.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Immaturity is saying the wrong thing, the right thing at the wrong time.
Right.
One of the greatest things about growing in a relationship is knowing that everything that can be said doesn't always need to be said.
Right.
And it doesn't always need to be said, listen, when you feel like you need to say it.
Absolutely.
Because isn't it true that most of the times when you feel like you need to say something, it probably won't be said in the way it needs to be said.
Oh, that's so true. I had to learn that, though, because I think I have been the person to say it in real time. And I learned you. Like, I learned how you listen. I learned like your moods, or even how to say certain things. So sometimes I can suggest things to you and make you think that it was your idea.
Thank you for letting me know.
You'll never know.
It'll never work again.
Yeah, it does.
I appreciate you for revealing your secret.
Oh, it's growth. I need to learn, but I'm sure you could do the same for me.
But don't I say that to you all the time? Like, I don't want you to think that I don't know what's happening. I just know it's expedient. Because I say this to you all the time. I'm like, this girl thinks I don't know what she's doing. Have I said that to you before?
You have said that.
I know what you're doing, but I understand that it's proper to do sometimes. Like, there are some things that I need to do, and there are some things that I need to do according to how you think about them, because I'm not always correct about how I think about them.
Yeah.
But that you think you're doing it and I don't know, that's a little overreach. And so what you actually see me doing is not being fooled. It's actually practicing one of our 3 C's. Compromise, right? And compromise doesn't always have to be verbal. Sometimes it could be subtle. It's a compromise.
That's
not
true.
even worth the conversation. She's right. That's compromise.
That is compromise. I mean, and that's all a part of partnership, because if we don't do that, we're really not achieving. I mean, I think we do that well. I always talk about your grace. Like, you have grace for people in a way that is absolutely amazing and admirable, because I've sometimes lack that.
Why do you think, why you say that about me a lot? Why do you think, I'm curious, why do you think I have a lot of grace for people?
You told me why.
Why?
You told me you have a lot of grace for people because you were given so much grace. And that it has worked for you in your life. Like, extending what maybe I think is excessive amount of grace for you has been beneficial in many situations in your life. One being your father. So that one story about you showing your father grace and how it blessed you,
right,
was like the light bulb for me. I was like, oh, I get it. Now, do I get why you just giving everybody that same amount of grace? Not so much, but I respect it.
I think that's a misdiagnosis. I don't give everybody the same kind of grace. I think you think it's everybody because I give grace to people you wouldn't give grace to. But you give grace to people that I wouldn't give grace to.
Okay.
So fair. I think that it's not everybody. Yeah. It's just it's people you done with.
Okay.
But if somebody has been great to me in my life, then the level of grace I give them can't be compromised by the grace that you would. So I give them what they deserve from me.
Got it.
And that's just how I live my life. But I believe, because like grace is, and let's talk about that. Like, grace is actually giving somebody what they don't deserve. That is literally the definition of grace.
Correct.
And mercy, which sometimes is different, it's when you keep from a person what they actually do deserve.
Okay.
So sometimes you see me vacillating between the two. Sometimes it ain't always grace. Sometimes it's mercy because I know they deserve it. But it's me not giving them what they deserve at that particular time. But you give grace, like for me, you give grace to me.
Yeah.
Well, there are some people who will look at you and be like, why you
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody would come on the end and be like, I wouldn't take all of that or whatever it is. Or so it's just who you decide.
Right.
To
and
give it to.
I do know that I do give grace to people that don't. I think what I compare is levels of grace. So maybe I think I should work on, like I always say, it makes me want to be better. I think about and I'm cognizant of trying to work on my grace for people because I see you do it. And I'm like, maybe I can be a little too like cut and dry with some things or some people. So maybe I do need to just be better in that area.
I think like where we are right now, I see two different versions of you as we grow together. I see the way you do business and I see the way you do life. And this is the greatest thing about it. Like I admire the growth because most people don't have a differentiator.
Yeah.
Like they do everything the same way to everybody. And that's not always right. I think that a part of growth is like one of my favorite athletes said to me today in a text message. He said, the thing that I like about you is that you have a coach's style of leadership. And he said, you coach every individual and not just a group. He was like, man, I got to get rid of so many people on my team right now. He said, I'm going to hit this portal like crazy, but right now I got to deal with what I have. See, I'm a coach in that regard, that you have to recruit players and that they got to go through the portal and that they're not readily available and that they have to be coached up. So I think athletics really inform my background, which is the part of my life that you didn't see, right? I was an athlete before you met me. I played basketball. So I'm informed a lot by basketball and sports.
So how do you measure your levels of grace? Like should everybody just receive grace because that's the right thing to do, or do you earn grace?
Ugh. Man, I hate to be cut and dry on anything because you get in trouble that way because I don't think nothing's black and white. So can I just give you my definition of it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Grace to me is unmerited favor, which means you don't have to earn it to get it from me. I give it to you because I believe in this instance, you don't deserve it, but you absolutely need it. Got it.
And that's anybody across the board.
As best as I can. Now, and you tell me if you see any inconsistency in that. That is literally how I live my life.
Yeah.
Is that I know you don't deserve that, but I'm giving it to you. You remember I told you a story about imagining a man who's in a wheelchair. And if you see that man in a wheelchair from a distance and somebody brings that man in the wheelchair some food and the man in the wheelchair slaps the food out of the person's hand, somebody from a distance is going to say, that man in the wheelchair is mean because that person brought them some food and they knocked it out of their hands. But if the man in the wheelchair knocks the food out of the man's hands and the man hits him, then the people are going to say, look at that poor man in the wheelchair that just got hit by the man who knocked it. So grace should be the way you treat people so that you can be viewed positively from a distance. That's how I think we should be in a relationship. And here's what I've learned in growth and in partnership. If we applied the same type of grace for each other that we do for the people out there, and I'm not talking about you and I, I'm saying just every relationship. We would, our divorce rates wouldn't be 50%.
Yeah, that's true.
Because grace is that thing that you must give to somebody that at some level you vested in, and you realize, did they have a bad day or did they have trauma? Were they not raised in that area? Those are all of the things that go through my mind in nanoseconds when it comes to expressing that grace.
That could be a whole nother show because the grace in that area of relationships that has levels.
Yeah.
Because there's also tolerance and respect and
Talk
all those
about
things.
that. What do you mean?
I just think that in a relationship, like I can show grace, right? Is that like, what is the definition of that? Am I showing grace when you are a serial cheater?
Right.
When you are a verbal abuser? If you are, you have a problem with partnership and just including me, like what? There's levels to grace in a relationship, which I think is a whole nother.
No, I mean, even not to be, overly religious, but even the Bible says to every man is given a measure of grace.
Right.
So yes, there are levels to it.
Right.
And
like 4 or 5 chances is just too
mean,
much.
Especially if I haven't shown any
signs
of development in that area, or I take you for granted.
Right.
I take you for granted, and now I got to show you that grace is for people who tried to grow. Grace ain't for somebody who just looking for a free get out of jail pass every time they don't grow.
That's really good.
You see?
That's really good.
So so then it goes back to the question. That's why I don't say anything is absolute, because now it sounds like you're saying, oh, so now grace has to be earned.
A little bit.
You see?
Yeah. Yeah. It's both. It's like right in the middle.
So it's both and.
But you talked about how basketball and coaching people helped you with just life in general and how you deal with people. But in this relationship, like if we're each other's coach, how do we know which one is coaching and which one is being the player participant?
Great question. Like you and I sat down and watched almost the entire NCAA tournament, right? We even went to a game. That's why every team, sometimes you'll see that one of the players actually starts coaching and the coach backs up.
Right.
So that means that the coach role in relationship has to be shared. Like, what's our 3 C's? We talk about compromise, compassion, and communication.
Yeah.
Right? Well, you're coaching if you're the one that is extending the compassion and I'm the one that was offensive. So you're coaching.
Right.
Well, turn around. You offended me. Now I'm coaching because I'm expressing compassion. So I think that the roles have to be shared, because if at any time any of us sit down and say, okay, you gonna coach, that automatically makes another person a subordinate, and grown people don't feel good being subordinate to other grown people all the time. Right.
And I think with time and communication, you learn that double dutch of, okay, now, tapping in as the player today because you're guiding this one, and I think sometimes I need that. Like I need to be able to sit back and be coached through certain things. Even church, not church in itself, but like functioning in this church atmosphere, staff, business, the business side. I need to be coached through that. So I know to sit back sometimes and become the player and actually want to be in the game. You know what I mean? Like I want to be in the game, so coach me through this. So there, like you said, there's things that we just have to coach each other through and know when to kind of.
So I'm literally growing in front of the people, and this is what I love about what we're doing. Like we're growing in front of them, and they're growing inside of themselves. So what would our strategy be? Do you believe that the coaching is shared? Do we share the coaching, or is there a coach and a person who's not? Like, what would you say?
No, I think we share. I think we share it because our worlds are foreign, so to speak. Like how the church world works as far as the business side is very different from my business side, and vice versa. Like how I'll take you in rooms with me that you would never go in, and you take me in rooms with you that I would never go in. So I have to be coached in those. And I think you feel comfortable with me coaching in my space, and we learn it. At some point we'll be right at the same level
because you coach the other person up.
Exactly.
Like I read in one of these books, there are 3 ways that couples communicate to each other, right? And everybody remember this. It's called PAC. Parent, adult, child. So I want you to imagine 6 circles, 2, 4, 6, 2 P's, 2 A's, 2 C's. Okay. The book said that we always have trouble in relationship when we're communicating parent to child. You're going to always have problems when you communicate parent to adult,
Mm-hmm.
the only way you're going to have effective communication is if you go adult to adult.
Right.
So I think that it has to be shared. Like, that means that it also is plausible that on the same day we can both be coaches.
Right. That's true. You know that I'm super sensitive to tones. Like,
Talking about the Hamiltons?
babe, you know I'm not talking about that.
Are you talking about music? Let me tell you something.
I'm
Al
not
Green,
talking about music. You know I'm not.
You
know
said tone, like, ooh, baby, baby.
No,
you talking about tone?
No.
What are you
no,
saying?
you know what I'm talking about.
Ooh,
Okay. Anyway,
right.
I'm super sensitive to tones and how people speak to me, because I think we all know there's certain ways you can say certain things that you could take it a certain way. And I always feel like when you know me and we're in a relationship, that you are just supposed to know those things. And that's not true at all. Like, unless I teach you that, hey, when you speak this way, this is what I hear or this is what I feel. So everything you say in that tone is either not heard at all, or I'm offended by it and I'm not receiving what you're saying. And sometimes that tone is still calm. It's just, I don't know, a little, it could come across harsh.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we talk about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Tones are, I don't know why. I don't know what triggered
Yeah, I was
me.
going to ask you, like, where in your life do you remember having an aversion to tone? Like, where did it come?
I mean, as I talk that out loud and I know that about myself, I don't know. Because it's not like I grew up in a household that either one of my parents spoke harshly. Were you
ever in a relationship where you spoke harsh to and you made up in your mind, I ain't never doing this no more? Like, let's dig.
I think I was in a relationship that the tone was harsh all the time. Not necessarily the words, but the tone.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even that the person was speaking to me purposely harshly. It was just the way that they spoke all the time. Like,
and would it be irritating? Like, ugh.
Yeah, or like you just take everything offensively because like every other word is a cuss word when you're just saying you going to the grocery store.
Right.
You know, so like it comes out so harsh that
Girl, you going to the grocery store what?
Right.
Okay.
Well, with some cuss words in there.
Can't use them.
And that could be in a, like, come give me a kiss after. But it's like, no, like that, everything was just so maybe that's where I'm a little sensitive of it. Like, wait a minute, how are you saying that? And it could have been somebody speaking to me just like meant nothing by it, but I hear it different.
Let me tell you why, man, that's so crazy you just said that. Because when you talk about tone to me, like, I know that it's possible to listen to somebody talk, but hear what somebody else said.
Yeah.
So the tone that I'm actually listening to, I've already made up in my mind. Just give you an example. I ain't gonna let no woman yell at me, right? Mm-hmm. The reason why a man will say, I ain't gonna let no woman yell at me, is not because you yelling at me is the issue. It's because all my life, my mama or my sister or my grandmama, somebody yelled at me. So now I come in here already setting the tone.
Right.
What I'm not gonna take. And the moment that tone is in opposition to the decision I made for myself, then this moment is a 10-year conversation you had with you, not you, but a person has with himself, and the other person like, what tone?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Right.
I mean, this is how I talk.
Right.
It's because they were not in on the conversation you had with yourself.
Right. That's true.
And so sometimes when you've had a conversation with yourself about something, it sounds way louder in the moment than it actually was.
Yeah. That
sucks. Now, as a basketball player, tone is not something that I focus on because I can tell you the way I've been talked to.
Yeah.
As a basketball player, as a son of a single mama who was going to make sure that her son didn't grow up, quote unquote, weak. That's what she always was telling me. You ain't going to be, my mama used to listen, and I'm not saying this, my mama was a great mom.
Yeah.
But her way of sometimes toughing me up was a punch to the chest. And then if I cried, my mama said, what you crying for? Her favorite words. I'm going to give you something to cry about.
Right.
So now when I'm emotional, I grew up having to do this. So now you get me at 50 years old.
Well,
You get me. I'm talking about other people. You get me at 30, whatever age people get married at. You get me. And all of a sudden, you're asking me to be something that was drained out of me. What emotion? I don't have tears for you because I've cried all of them already. And the last woman that I cried in front of told me to stop.
Right.
So now what you want from me? So that's what I mean by tone.
Yeah.
Being
triggers.
Informed. The triggers.
They're triggers.
The triggers.
And the important thing in a relationship is learning how to manage those triggers and recognizing that you have them.
Listen, I'm gonna read your book.
I'll be having some nuggets every now and then. Yeah. I think recognizing the triggers and managing them.
That's huge.
Are huge.
That's huge.
But I didn't even know that about myself. I didn't realize tone was such an issue until like, I don't know. I think us having conversations, sometimes I'll be like, wait a minute, you said that a little harsh. She'd be like, well, I was just trying to talk over the vacuum cleaner in the background. I was like, I'm not yelling
at
But I'll just
all.
be like super sensitive. Like, hold on now.
What's your karate?
Yeah.
What your
don't
problem?
have me pull out my
question is, why do you have to have sound effects?
Oh, that's the only way karate works.
Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, I go. It's always a
you gotta have sound effects or it's not effective.
Right.
Sorry. But I'm
violent.
actually not sorry. It's important.
I can
and
tell,
if the kick has a whole nother sound
I can absolutely tell nobody ever taught you karate because this here is not going to do anything to anybody. You look like you're kneading bread.
Let me correct you. Dear had me in karate.
What?
She did.
When? When you 3?
When I was like 7.
You don't remember any of
at
that.
all.
What are you talking about?
I got to the second belt. What color is that?
Who was your sensei?
I don't know. I really don't know.
What's the first belt?
White.
What's the second one?
I don't know.
You don't know nothing about karate.
I got to that one, though.
You might have been in judo.
Could have been. Listen, my mother, this is so off subject. My mother had me in every single class you could ever imagine. You name it, I was in it. She made sure that I touched everything. I don't know what, I was like her doll.
That's crazy because my mama didn't take me to nothing but basketball practice. I ain't been to nothing. I never played baseball. I never done karate.
Yep.
What other stuff did the little boys? I played football in high school, but I took myself there. I wasn't taken nowhere. You know why? We ain't had no money to pay for nothing extra.
Okay, we're getting off something. We're not gonna throw Miss Gwen under the bus.
I ain't throwing under the bus. She know we was broke. Everybody know that. Hey, managing triggers.
Yeah. That's a trigger. You just got triggered that you didn't have extra
all I
activity.
seen was water in the refrigerator with a light bulb, just right there.
What does that mean?
Because I just went back to how broke we was and how we was sharing bath water and all of that kind of stuff.
But that is a trigger for you. Like, that's why finances is so,
Yes.
that's why you're so thorough with it. Because
I know what it's like to lose it or not have it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll say, babe, it was literally just $1.
It's okay.
I
Tell
don't
the
know
people what I do about the movie theater. Tell them the story that you got on me.
If I buy
about.
tickets to go to a movie and I buy them maybe a week early or something, and I don't want to go at the last minute, we going to that movie.
You know why?
Why?
Tell them why we going.
Because I spent
I ain't going.
$12.
We're going. That $24, we're going. And go to sleep. Get you a nap. But we pay for them seats and we're going to sit in there. I ain't wasting it. Now, if they give you a refund, we can stay home. But if we paid the $24,
we going.
We going.
That's with everything.
Yep.
But it makes sense because it's triggering to you that $24 is being wasted, even though, I mean.
It is actually being wasted.
It is, but knowing that you're this way about money, I know that you are not adjusting, you are not changing. It is a non-negotiable. That
I will adjust, babe. We can bring it down to $9.
Wow.
Jeez, I mean, it's so much compromise. Bring it down to a $9 threshold. From now on, if it's $10, we're going. If it's $9, we can stay home.
Okay.
Is that a compromise?
That is such a good compromise. Good job, babe.
Thank you, babe.
But I do know that $9 and above is a non-negotiable.
Oh, we got to go.
Right. And I'm okay with that. But I think that goes for both of us. Like for me, one of the things that I probably don't do a lot of compromising on is my privacy bubble. And you definitely did not.
It's more like a privacy tic-tac.
Wow. Yeah.
It's more like a privacy nano.
Okay.
Can I get in there? Is there room for in that bubble?
I mean, I'm a little uptight about my privacy bubble. I just think that, I don't know, I like to protect. I've had to be very protective of myself and like my kids for so long.
That's true.
And I think I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot, I've experienced a lot in that privacy space that has been broken by so many people, friends, family, whatever, be it purposely or not. The security and privacy bubble is constantly disrespected.
Well, let me tell you why you just made me grow. Because my privacy was structured by a person who 15 years ago was pastoring a church with 200 people in it, driving a 1996 Buick Regal. 15 years ago, you were in the mega mansion all over TV. So you had to build a circle that I didn't have to build. I just literally was informed. And I think that that's why in relationships people struggle, because we know what we build, but we've never consulted why the foundation is there.
Right.
Like just hearing you say
good.
why.
Yeah.
It's so important. You said the word security. I didn't have to worry about security. Well, nobody trying to get nothing from me. And if they did, they weren't going to get nothing because I didn't have nothing to bestow.
Right.
Meanwhile,
we had to have NDAs at the door.
You see?
Yeah. So, and still would get broken. So yeah, I'm super protective of.
I just grew.
I'm so very protective of that. So my privacy bubble will stop me from befriending people to a certain level because I don't want to let them in my bubble.
That's hey.
And you struggle with that in the beginning because you were like, what? Let's go. Let's, hang. I'm like, no, because that's not even fun for me to sit at a table and just be superficial because I can't be myself. I can't share anything because I'm not comfortable with you. And so it was a struggle, but you knew that eventually you got to the point of like, okay, this is a non-negotiable for her. She is not letting them walls down until it gets to a certain point that she feels comfortable, if that ever happens, and you compromise.
And let me tell you what else I learned. I learned that we don't have to go on the other side of the walls together.
Right.
I can go over there and leave you on the side you're comfortable on. I can go visit my comfort and then come back and see about you.
Absolutely.
And that's as much as people in relationship have to figure out how to operate together, they also need to learn how to operate apart.
That's true. That's very true.
Because apart is as important as together.
And our friends don't have to be each other's friends. I have to just feel comfortable with you being with so-and-so, even if that ain't my homie.
Correct.
You know what I mean? I just have to feel comfortable with you being with that person, but we ain't all got to hang out together.
So you bring up a very important point. Like you talk right now, what you're talking about is difference. And one of the places you hit in is like the difference in love languages.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think when we first started talking, we was trying to figure out, do you love a person the way you receive love, or do you love a person the way they receive love?
Right.
Like what was your rationale?
Well, I didn't realize this until like in my 40s that I think I was loving people in my life the way that I wanted to receive, the way I receive love. Like if I like cake, I'm making you cake. Like, ooh, I made cake. This is my favorite thing, and I'm sharing it with you. You might hate cake, so you're not excited. Like gifts for me, I like them, but it doesn't. I'd rather you give me your time,
yes,
and attention. So you like gifts. So then you were buying gifts, thinking that was going to make, and then you were just like, you don't even get that excited about that. I'm like, no, it's great. But
no, I just had to realize that you had already had every gift that I could ever give you.
True.
No, that's true. It is true. If I went and got somebody who was with a bus pass and I bought them a G-Wagon, they're going to be excited. But because you've had 17 of them, you're like, another one.
Oh,
pretty much.
That makes me.
Yeah, be sad because you were not excited when I brought you one, and I'm feeling some kind of way about it, thinking about how you acted when I brought that G-Wagon in.
I didn't get a little excited.
Not like I was expecting. We're going to do it over the next time. The next time I buy your car,
I should do cartwheels.
I want you the same way you did on my video and on Instagram.
Okay.
I want to see you
cartwheel it is.
Cartwheel, sister, because no, but this is so good. I'm playing around, but look at how my mind is exploding because the Groow zone we are literally in it right now. I'm like literally looking at my mom drive a Mercury Cougar at the age where your life was set. And I saw how she responded to new things because she was not accustomed to getting them.
Right.
And when I hear you, and see, this is why it's important to have conversations. It is not that you're ungrateful. It's you're unfazed.
Right.
Because you've been there and done that. That changes the game, because a person being ungrateful is a lot different than somebody being unfazed.
Right. No, I'm super grateful. And I'm more grateful for the gesture and what you did, like the thought of me versus what it is.
That's good, babe.
So yeah, I mean, and I mean, I'm excited that you thought of me and you loved me enough to get it. Let me tell you, the worst loving gift I got for Valentine's Day one year, I got $25,000 balled up in a shoebox. Like, took the time to take each $100 bill and like fluff them to fill a Jordan shoebox.
That was one of your worst gifts? Let me go on record to say
that's not romantic.
No, let me just go on record, because I understand.
Okay, I know you're gonna think
no. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, if you ever feel like you want to ball up $25,000 in a shoebox, please think of me. I mean, think of me. I just want to be thought of. Okay, and you know what? That's enough thought for me. That you touched every one of those bills.
It was not for me. I would have rather the time. First of all,
that's only because you didn't need $25,000 at the time.
I didn't need $25,000. I'm sitting in. I had whatever car I wanted. I could go wherever. I did not need $25,000. Now, it's great. And I know people are listening like, that ungrateful heifer. No, it wasn't that. It was just that, sir, now what? Am I supposed to go buy another purse? This said this was what was upstairs in your pocket. And you didn't get a gift. You didn't think of me. Somebody just told you it's Valentine's Day. So you went and got one of the kids' shoe boxes, and you went in your closet and you balled this up, put it in a box, and was like, Happy Valentine's. That's what that was.
But so see, this is why people listen. This is amazing. Because context is everything.
Right.
You see what you just thought about? Yeah. Now, you talk about $25,000. I think about it.
The money.
Just being flat poor and what a difference it would make.
Right.
And you are like, bro, and nobody who's watching should judge you, because, and if they are, they have to judge you from the place you sat in at that time. And I'll defend you all day long. When you were in the position you were in, $25,000 did not move the needle. So what are we getting excited about? And that is what we have to do in relationships if we're going to grow, is stop bringing me stuff I don't need.
Right.
Or stop bringing me stuff I used to need.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that it is so saying that, and it sounds ungrateful. I rather him just think of me. You know what I mean? I rather him just remember me, the thought of me. And it wasn't about what the material thing was in front of me. It was the thought behind it that wasn't there, that I was more hurt about, you know? So it wasn't being ungrateful. It was just more like, that's not my love language. My love language is your time and attention. And what is the one?
Acts of service.
Acts of service. So it was just, you know, it's knowing who you are partnered with, knowing who you're in a relationship, knowing me and what would have really made me happy versus somebody, you know, telling you.
And let me, because I hear you explaining yourself, because I know you think that the viewers will see this and they will make an assumption. Let me protect you. What I know what you're saying is even if it was $5, it wasn't the amount. You were giving the example of what it was, but because the context is, this was a knee-jerk reaction to forgetting about me. Yeah. And this is why relationships are important, because after we solve all of our other problems, we're still wondering, what about me?
Yeah.
What about me? That's the whole thing. And growth happens when I forget about I, and I becomes we. And when we are concerned about the other person, me never has to wonder.
That's good.
Like, I don't ever have to wonder. You got me, I got you. Yeah. So I never have to say, what about me?
Right.
Because me is in your hands. Does that make sense?
Right. No, that makes total sense. And I think you loving the person that way goes back to that grace we talked about, because you then extend grace in places for somebody that you know genuinely holds your heart in their hands and delicately holds it, intentionally holds it, takes care of it, cares about it. And then that grace is a thing that's just given out of the naturalness of the love between two people, if that makes sense.
Here's where I would love to be in life. I'm in that situation. 25,000 comes. As opposed to having the $25,000 and in the shoebox and spending the next 2 years upset about something that I never communicated. If we're going to grow, I take the box right back to you and say, I want you to understand what this just did to me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's
Yes.
where growth happens. That's the
Yes.
grow zone.
Yes.
And we always stop short of that effort.
Right.
Because that is how 5 years turns into 10 years.
Right.
10 years turns into 25 years. Because
And resentment just builds up.
listen, you can't love anybody when your heart is full of resentment.
For sure. And that's something I learned about me, is that I didn't say anything. So I continued to let those things build up, which I'm sure he did too. You know, we just didn't communicate. So things would build up. And then 10 years down the line, you wake up and you realize that I'm so angry at this person, you know, that I just really, I cannot stand it here. So if I had maybe communicated, maybe said my truths in real time and not held on to like, ooh, that's a whole nother subject too. Cause it's just like, you know what you about to get. It's like, I know if I have this conversation, it's not going to go over well. It's going to be an argument. And it's just not, you know, you just don't even want to put the effort into it.
Well, the greatest thing about it, and we want to leave our listeners with this, is that what you have been through doesn't have to inform what you're going to. There's a great book called The Power of Now. Mm-hmm. That you all should read. The Power of Now. I believe the author is Eckhart Tolle. And he says in The Power of Now that nobody is ever in pain in the present. He says you're only in pain when you're thinking about the past or the future. But there is nothing happening to you at this moment that is causing you pain.
Right.
And when we stay present, that's what a relationship is in its best. Is when the two people who are with each other are not somewhere else.
Present. That's
staying
so
present.
True. Yeah.
And I believe that staying present is your best gift to your spouse. That's why it's called the presence.
Oh, that's so
like
good. Good job.
Hey guys, we thank you so much for being with us on this episode. I feel so light and happy and
this
good.
This is low-key therapy.
Like it's therapy. I hope y'all feel good.
Yeah.
Listen, don't take for granted that you know what's going to happen next. You got to stay tuned in. You never know what we're going to talk about next time. We'll see you next time on the Groow Zone.